Dr. Biniam, it will be the same question. Yeah, 3 decades, we haven't seen either of them visiting or meeting each other. So this is the first time. What do you think that Eritrea will gain by aligning itself with Russia? And what do you think is the motive? I mean, given what I said before, all the situations that's going on globally and in the Horn of Africa, it's hard to say this is coincidental. Yeah.
I wanted us to, reflect a little bit. The Russia-Eritrea relationship has been ebbing and flowing, and over a longer period of time, it has peaked at some point, and then it has its lows. But then since I think 2017, I would say that it is steadily improving significantly. And what Eritrea wanted out of this bilateral engagement is quite broad. The one element is obviously the geopolitical element, a reconfiguration of the world order, as it's been said, to make it a just and fair and inclusive one in many respects. And in relation to that, Eritrea had been engaging Russia and other groupings that are trying to promote that dimension of the global architecture. Even though Eritrea is small and may not have that much leverage, but at least be able to engage, at that level and rally for that kind of reconfiguration of the global governance architecture. That would allow us to move out of this U.S. dominance, U.S.-led West dominance of a global order, the sanction, the bullying that Eritrea has been subjected to, and in a fight against that as well, Eritrea had been able to come to the front in that regard. But then there is also geo-economic element to it, and Eritrea wants Russia to play that part. Russia had contributed to this continent significantly in a number of ways, and Eritrea is no less. For example, the oil refinery in port of Assab was built by Russia in 1967, and Russia had been involved in dam construction in Egypt and other places. And so Russia's engagement had been there, but Russia had to retreat for all sorts of reasons, and of course, partly, the Western pressure, with the collapse of Soviet Union. We can talk about that. Economic challenges Russia was facing in the 90s could be some of the reasons why Russia was disengaging from Africa. But increasingly, it's coming back. And if you look at it, Russia's trade with Africa is about $17 billion. And recent stat that I saw, and the US is, by comparison to its size, wants to tell us that Russia's, trade with Africa is very small, but that's not small by comparison to relative to their GDP size. So it is important to think through those kinds of relationship in that way. And then Russia has not only resources, it's resource rich, we all know that, but then Russia has also technology, the capability it has there, perhaps might be inward looking in many respects, but then we all remember the ladders we used to drive in Eritrea and Ethiopia, the different technologies Russia brought in. It's not just the military element, but then there are other elements to Russia's technology that can be also transferred into this continent. So Eritrea is looking at Russia not only in this strategic engagement, but also geo-economic one. It would contribute to Eritrea's development, but also creating the kind of network that is needed and technology infrastructure that is needed to sustain peace and economic growth and integration in the region as well. So it has been requesting that over a long period of time, which it had done so in a rather less pronounced fashion. Yeah. That's Eritrea diplomacy, doing it quietly over a long period of time. So this relationship, we have seen it has been worked on over a longer period of time. It just didn't happen, with the conflict in Ukraine. It had been steadily being formulated over a longer period of time. And obviously COVID, disrupted it slightly, but then that engagement had continued. And what we're seeing is a culmination of that. Now, what Eritrea wants Russia to play in addition to this is create the equilibrium that is necessary for us to be able to counter this hegemony the West has established over decades and decades of institutional violence, as well as physical violence that it has managed to unleash on the continent. Yeah, so it's looking at Russia as an important player, a global power that could contribute to this kind of stability and a way out of this Western domination of the continent and the world as well. So Eritrea is looking at this engagement not only as what Eritrea wants out of Russia, but more broadly what we need in the region and what Africa needs out of this kind of engagement with either with Russia, China, and Turkey, and other players that are emerging as well. India is there, as has been mentioned. So it has to be framed within this different layers of engagement that Eritrea had been trying to cultivate with Russia and other powers. I think we'll fill the rest as we go along. Yeah, thank you, Mahlet.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Biniam, for sharing your view on that one.